Hey everyone, I want to welcome you back to another edition of Starcraft Tuesday. I am of course Zoronden, and let's check out today's combatants. In the bottom right, sort of top right I guess, but is the orange Zerg Mazark, and in the top left, the teal Protoss eXeMesh. Yes, eXeMesh. Alright. And today's matchup is a Gold League match. So we should see some interesting play, not top level play, but some fairly good play out of these two players. Do have a got Pylon up by eXeMesh. And of course the standard kind of Overlord scout out by Mazark. Now we do have eXeMesh scouting down to the south. Unfortunately, he has missed his scout, so he doesn't see where Mazark is. But as he sees the Overlord come in, he should actually get an idea of where Mazark is, and he does, of course, send his probe over there to find the Zerg base. Pull going up by Mazark. Does look like we have a Forge Fast Expand going down for eXeMesh, and there of course is the expansion. Should be looking for a Fast Expand by Mazark unless he's planning some early Zergling play, which we do have some Zergling coming out. So he might be doing some sort of Ling rush. No, there is the expansion, so kind of standard play out of him of what we should be expecting. The gateway's going down by eXeMesh at this time, and he is just going to be probing up for the moment, throwing up some gas. So nothing too out of the ordinary for both players so far. A little bit of Zergling chasing down that probe there. So just normal play so far. Quite a few Zergling though out on the field. Bring up the units tab here. I guess there's only 6. There's not that many then. Cannon, of course, up by eXeMesh, as goes with the Forge Fast Expand. Have to rely on a cannon for your defense instead of the early Zealot and Stalker. Just kind of a payoff of the doing the Fast Expand for a little more economy, which against a Zerg is typically a good idea because Zerg often are going to go for the Fast Expand themselves because they do need that for their economy. And we do of course see Mazark going for a third expansion, so grabbing a quick third. And the problem with that third is it is very close to eXeMesh's main, so he could easily find that, especially if he does some Void Ray play or something like that. However, we don't see anything coming out of him so far on that scale. Of course, he has just put up his second gateway as well as his first cybernetics core. So, Warp Gate, they're researching, of course, about a quarter done. However, we have some links coming in. They're about to test the front line of eXeMesh. However, with a cannon up as well as a Zealot, he's not going to really be able to do anything. However, if this Zealot gets out of place, he could get sniped. So, although now with that Stalker up, those Lings are going to need to retreat. Oh, they were hold position for a second. He almost lost a Ling there. Never want to hand your enemy free units. That is always an unfortunate bargain. Do have a Queen. Looks like she might be running for the third here. Or positioning at the front for defense, I suppose. Not really sure what he's thinking of doing. Of course, he does spit down a creep tumor there, so maybe he was just getting her to the front line, a bit of a misclick. Nothing too dramatic there. We do have 3 queens up by him as well as a 4th in production, so he is doing somewhat of that extra queen production, probably just a creep tumor queen for the moment. Nothing too crazy. However, we have seen a lot more queens produced lately by Zerg, especially because of that range upgrade. They've become a much better weapon. However, it looks like Mazark is going to hand eXeMesh, I am having trouble with that name, going to hand him a free Overlord kill. I want to try to avoid that. I mean, Mazark is, well, as of now, he is supply blocked, so he's going to have a couple more Overlords on the way. I do see a robotics facility going down for eXeMesh, so we'll have to see if he's planning Immortal play or maybe some Colossi. Of course, do have the first obs coming out for eXeMesh. Want to get that scouting down so he can figure out what the heck Mazark is doing. And a second Forge as well as a Twilight Council, so we may see a Dark Shrine or some Storm play perhaps. I suppose we could also get some Archon play, being that it could be very well be a Roach Ling Ball, and we are seeing roaches come out on the field now by Mazark. Now if that obs pops soon, and I think that is it right there, in fact. So he has now found that third, and the obs is going to run over here, end up finding the roach den as well as lair tech, and just pretty much going to reveal everything that Mazark has at this time. Mazark, he might be setting up to take a fourth here. Not quite sure. Not for the moment at least, but he is stationing a few lings down there, so he might be planning for the future there. We'll have to see about that situation. And of course, you know, he is watching this expansion to see if eXeMesh, wow, that name, to see if eXeMesh is going to take a third or not. Another gateway by Mesh. I'm just going to start calling him Mesh. And there it is, the Colossus out by Mesh. So he's going to be going for some Colossus play. Not a bad call, especially against Roach Ling Ball. However, if Mazark decides to grab some mutas, there could definitely be some trouble for Mesh. Oh, and some Warp Prism dropping or warping in by Mesh. Not a bad idea. However, that is a lot of roaches. Let's check out that roach tab, or the unit tab. Got 30 roaches on the field. That, ooh, he could take this game right now probably. Although now with that Colossi out, it would be in danger. However, there is no Thermal Lance yet, so quite possible that amount of roaches could take this game. We'll have to see if Mazark is going to keep his lead up here, which is about 40 food at the moment, or if Mesh can find a way to take advantage. And we do have an expansion, in-base expansion, going down by Mazark. So just want some more unit production. And look at this. Mazark is positioning Overlords at every single expansion on the map, except for the 2 golds in the center, because he can see that with the Xel'Naga Watchtower. And if you have ever questioned what map control looks like, this is definitely map control. He has eyes everywhere on the field, has an idea of what's going on over the entire course of the battlefield. He will know what's up and when it's up. And good grouping of lings here coming in. I don't know if they're going to test the front here, or not quite sure what exactly he has planned positioning him here. Maybe they're just waiting for the rest of the ball, and that does seem to be the case with this. Oh my gosh, as well as this. This could be the push. I mean, Mazark has a 50 food count lead at this point. This very well might break the line of Mesh. Only 1 Immortal on the field, as well as only 1 Colossi. Still no Thermal Lance. Oof, I don't see how Mesh can hold this off. Mazark is about to pound on the front door. Let's see who's going to pull off this victory. The more Mesh waits, the more trouble he is in. Oh, and Mesh comes out the front door like that. Oh, Mazark could push this. I don't know why he isn't. And now there he is, grabbing a 4th and a gold and retreating. I mean, it's not like Mesh showed a hand, although now he does have 3 Immortals, so that is a much deadlier force to Mazark at this time. And just as I was saying, the Mazark is waiting too long. He did abandon that fourth. I'm not really sure why. Does he know that Observer's there? Perhaps he does. But he has now moved his fourth to the bottom gold instead of the top gold. And he does now have Corruptors out as well. So those are going to pretty much negate this Colossi. However, oh, there are 2 more Colossi as well. Still no Thermal Lance, though. That is a big oversight by Mesh, especially investing in 3 Colossi. Oh, and he's got, I guess that's another Immortal. Immortals are the way to go at this point, especially with the Corruptors on the field. However, I don't even think Mesh knows. Oh, and about 4 Roaches go down who appeared to be just on move command without going to attack command. Oh, and a bunch of Lings just thrown to the Wolves. That's unfortunate for Mazark. Although he may be throwing those away on purpose, as he is almost food locked, or maxed out. A bunch of spine crawlers going down by Mazark. Not a bad idea to get those pumped up, especially when you're maxed like this with a ton of credits. But here comes Mesh across the field. Mazark at one time was at Mesh's door with a force that probably could have crushed him, and now Mesh could potentially take this. He is only down by 18 food at this point, when at one time he was down by over 50. So Mazark has just sat back and turtling and may end up losing the match because of this. Look at these 5 Immortals here, as well as 3 Colossi. If he can defend those Colossi from the Corruptors and do the proper amount of damage. And look at this, just a Mexican standoff here. Both players not wanting to engage, waiting for their max amount of units. Oh, look at that amount of Corruptors. Oh, I think Mazark has overreacted to cannons on the front line. Oh my gosh, this game is out of hand. Cannons on the front line. Here's the engagement. All the Stalkers blink back. Half of them aren't even engaged, trying to defend their Colossi against way too many Corruptors, wasting their damage. The Roaches, however, are being liquefied at the moment. Oh, the Stalkers not even engaging did not matter. The Roaches got liquefied by those Colossi, and now those Spine Crawlers are just being toasted. Here comes Mesh's main force. He's down by 30, 40 food at this point, but it just doesn't matter. The Stalker Colossi count, or Immortal count, oh my gosh, he's at 8 Immortals. Looks like a couple might go down, but with the Stalkers backing him up, everything is falling before their torrent. Mazark pissed about Immortals, never knows how to deal with them. Mass Immortals can be quite deadly. Looks like Mesh is going to take this game. Mazark just kind of sitting back for a second, reeling in how much he just got destroyed. It did appear that Mesh earlier did see the Corruptors and maxed out on those Immortals. And there is the GG. Mazark drops. Well played by eXeMesh. I do want to give him the big congratulations for that, in my opinion, comeback win. I mean, he was at death's door there, and Mazark just didn't push. You gotta push in and take that victory. He was so close. But well played by Mesh, countering with those Immortals. Congrats to him. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in for StarCraft Tuesday and this Gold League match. I am, of course, Zoronden. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Thursday for StarCraft Thursday.